Hello and welcome to the 12 Reports. I'm Tolulope Adeleru Balogun, sitting in for Blessings Mosugu. Now, the headlines. U.S. worried about Nigerian Christian communities after abduction of 177 in Kaduna. President Tinubu approves posting of 3 ambassadors designates out of the 68 confirmed. And European leaders relieved but on guard after Trump's Greenland U-turn. We have our reporters stationed in different parts of the country. We have Joshua Imaraye, Bettina Nwele, and Aishat Salihu joining us from Abuja, while Chizoba Aniowe joins from Plateau State. We'll have the details of all these stories and more in just a moment. We begin now with security matters. Now, Plateau State, where 7 miners have been killed after unknown gunmen attacked a mining site in Kuru, Jos South local government area of Plateau State on Wednesday night. The Plateau State Police Command confirmed the attack, saying investigations are ongoing. Jos South lawmaker Dalyop Isaac described the incident as another unwarranted assault on miners. The killings bring to 19 the number of miners killed in similar attacks within the past month, following a December 19th incident in Barking Ladi where 12 miners were murdered. We're joined now by correspondent Chizoba Aniowe, who gives us the details of the situation. I think we'll be talking to Chizoba in just a moment. Let's keep the news going. Now, the United States has expressed serious concerns over Nigeria's ability to protect Christian communities following the abduction of 177 worshippers in Kaduna State. Bandits were reportedly seen moving freely through forest corridors with their captives days after attacking churches in Kurmin Wali Community, Kajuru local government area. 11 victims managed to escape, while 166 remain in captivity. A high-level U.S. delegation arrived in Nigeria for a week-long diplomatic tour to review counterterrorism measures and the protection of vulnerable religious groups across Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. The visit coincides with heightened tensions after Nigeria was designated as a country of particular concern over alleged religious freedom violations, claims the Nigerian government has rejected. Officials emphasized the need for stronger security operations, accountability, and protection for communities in northern states. In the meantime, Nigeria and the United States have reaffirmed their commitment to deepening security and counterterrorism operations, as well as cooperation, as both countries held a high-level bilateral engagement in Abuja. Government officials say the partnership is already yielding concrete results in intelligence sharing, military operations, and protection of vulnerable communities. News Central State House correspondent Bettina Nwele reports.
When Nigeria awoke to the news of being designated a country of particular concern, many wondered, while others sought solutions. This partnership is the result of that search, with priority given to Nigeria's fight against terrorism and violent extremism. At a joint press briefing in Abuja, the Minister of Information and National Orientation explained further.
Now, this engagement that we have just had represents the 3rd high-level engagement by senior U.S. government leadership since the visit of the Nigerian delegation to Washington in November last year. Now, this also follows 2 congressional delegations hosted in December of 2025, and we are now having this working group between the 2 countries convening.
National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu says the partnership has led to the neutralization of hundreds of terrorists, the disruption of criminal networks, and improved security operations across the Northeast, Northwest, and North Central regions. U.S. officials in response praised Nigeria's progress, while urging continued efforts to protect all communities across the country.
These efforts have resulted in the neutralization of several hundreds of terrorists like never before, the destruction of logistic hubs, and the interception of key facilitators and logisticians.
About recent reports that gunmen kidnapped more than 170 Christians in Kaduna State on January 18. We want to see an end to this kind of violence, and we are here to work together with the Nigerian government with the goal of protecting Christians and their right to practice their faith freely and safely.
Authorities say the Nigeria-US partnership will remain constant resolve, accountability, and protection of civilians as both nations continue to join efforts to tackle insecurity and strengthen stability. In Abuja, for News Central, Bettina.
And from Abuja, we head back now to Plateau State on the killing of those miners. Correspondent Chizoba Inoue is standing by. Chizoba, let's just go straight to it, because this is apparently a situation that's been ongoing for some time, and now we have a number of individuals who have been killed. What's the current situation over there? Give us the latest updates.
Hi, good afternoon. It's such a sad situation, actually. Just come up from the mining site where the incident happened late Tuesday evening.
Anchor
And
Tanya.
we met with the family members. It's a sorrowful moment. You could see agony. You could see pain on their faces. In fact, we are told that one of them, the one we visited the home, if you can see just right behind me there, that's the gravesite for Pam, one of the boys that was shot dead in that incident. And we're told that his parents have been late, and he too has joined that call. So apparently there's no one left in that family, so they said. And so it's a very sad moment for the people of Kuru that this incident has happened. And for them, it hasn't happened for a very long time. So they are worried that this is coming to bear again. So their call is on government, on security agencies, to rise up to this occasion to see that these things are brought to a halt so that people can move around, go about their legal businesses, have means of livelihood. However, I have one of the officials of the Biram Youth Movement, Biram Molders Association, and he's here to join me just to give us a little bit of what he thinks about this incident. Good morning again.
Good morning.
So what can you tell us about this?
What a tragedy, though it's so painful. At this moment in time, Kuru is bereaved and we are grieved. And this whole incident that has been reoccurring, we are appealing to the government to look into it. The people that are killing us are not people we don't know. We know the people that are killing us. 3 days or 4 days ago, we reported this incident to the security outlet, that's the military outlet at Boy Maraban Jama, that we've seen Fulani in our vicinity. They deployed some men, they chased these people out, but unfortunately, they came in the night and killed these people in their workplace. And we want to say something clear here. That mining site was a leased area. They have been paying royalty to the Plateau State government, and we hope that the public should understand that factor. But we cannot guarantee foreigner safety in our land. This thing is out of hand. We are paying, and all the time we refer this incident to the security, and we give them the tips. We let them know that this is what we've seen, but yet attack will still happen. So who is actually killing us? Let the government come out publicly and tell us. If they cannot defend us, we can seek self-help. At least we know ourselves, we know our land, we know our community. If they cannot protect us, let them give us the guarantee. We'll protect ourselves to face this incident that is reoccurring. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's just it. Self-help could be taken to mean community policing, which everyone has been crying out for. So while everyone now is a stakeholder, if you understand what I mean. So it's a call on everyone to rise up to this challenge so that all these recurring and seemingly unending activities of unknown gunmen will be brought to an end. It's over to you in the studio.
All right, Chizoba, one very quick question for you. So we know that right now with this attack, the death toll has now gotten to, I think it is about 17 minors. But are these the only 2 attacks? And have we seen injuries involved in attacks on minors? And let me just quickly ask you as well, do we see anybody taking responsibility for these attacks? Do we know what they may be connected to or what the speculation of the townspeople says?
Unfortunately, no one has taken responsibility for carrying out these attacks, unlike what we used to see in the recent past, 5, 6, 7, 10 years back, that after the incident, you see a group coming up to claim responsibility for that. But I mean, in recent times, no one has seen anyone coming out to do that. So, it becomes more call on the security agencies to go after these guys because they are always alleged an unknown gunman. So no one can tell for sure until 1 or 2 of them are apprehended. Then you can now see the face behind these unknown gunmen. And so for the numbers, the death toll rising to 17 thereabouts, that's to join those that were killed barely 1 month ago. That was in Barkin-Ladi local government area, of course, in Plateau State, where 12 miners were also shot dead while mining. So this one, the 12 plus this 7 now, that is 19 of them in just 1 month. It's a call for everyone to just be on their toes to arrest the situation so that it doesn't continue to escalate. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Chizoba, thank you so much for that update. And it is a situation we'll continue to monitor. You're watching the 12 reports. We'll take a quick time out when we come back. We have more on politics, economic issues. We get news to you from around the world and much more. Do stay with us. We resume with a look at politics. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde on Thursday had a closed-door meeting with President Bola Tinubu. Governor Makinde arrived shortly after Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang, who recently defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. The meeting comes amid a lingering rift between Governor Makinde and former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, now Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, over the future of the PDP and alignments ahead of the 2027 elections. Governor Makinde has repeatedly stated his commitment to preserving multi-party democracy and maintaining independence in his political choices.
We're talking about governance here, so I came to discuss with the president on some governance issues, basically.
And now we're joined by State House correspondent Bettina Nwele, who has more for us. Bettina, in terms of the visit of the Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde to President Bola Tinubu, what can you tell us about it?
All right, thank you very much, Tolu. But before I proceed, I have to give a little backstory on what has been going on between Seyi Makinde and Ayo Fayose. Now, according to the information, after the January 2024 Bodija explosion in Ibadan, the federal government promised an intervention fund, reportedly widely as 50 billion naira. Now, Fayose has repeatedly accused Makinde of receiving this money and diverting it for personal or political use, and possibly to boost his own political ambition instead of deploying it properly for the victims. Now, Fayose has even insisted that Makinde should refund the funds with interest because in his view, they remain unused and improperly managed. Now, on Makinde's poem, Sigh, Makinde has said his aides have refuted the allegations and they say only 30 billion was actually released and not 50 billion naira. Now, those funds have managed to remain transparent, according to the aides, saying that they have used it as they should have used it. Now, let's move into the party fighting between Ayo Fayose and Seyi Makinde within the PDP. Now, this conflict comes amid the internal divisions in the People's Democratic Party, and it's not unusual for us to see bickering between Fayose and Makinde within the same political party. Now, a lot of people have alleged that yesterday's meeting was because Makinde is considering porting from his party into the APC, and Fayose also came out to say, oh, the president didn't give him any room to actually express himself. All what he's doing is more or less damage control, coming to tell the people that he's comfortable in PDP, but because he has seen that there is no room or no space for him in the APC. But this is interesting to see, and we're expecting much more to come out, especially leading up until the next coming elections in 2027.
So we are being told that Governor Seyi Makinde was there immediately after the Plateau State Governor. Do we have any idea of what the conversation may have been between the Plateau State Governor, who recently just defected from the PDP to the APC, with President Tinubu?
Well, for now, there is no say on what that was about, but we do know that he came in just a few minutes apart. The two governors came in to see the president. Now, whether or not that was something that he had sorted behind the scenes, saying, oh, you get there first, so there can be some sort of soft landing before I come in, we cannot verify. But we can say that, yes, they came in at close proximity, and the result of the meeting, according to what Seyi Makinde has told us, is that he just came to see the president.
All right, Bettina, we'll leave it at that for now. Thank you so much. Of course, we know we're heading towards elections and campaigning, so there will be a lot more political maneuvering, and I know you'll be on top of it. Thank you so much. All right, now we go to a story that is happening right now here in Lagos, where one person has been confirmed dead after a multiple vehicle accident on the Otedola Bridge along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on Friday. The accident on the inward Lagos stretch of the bridge has left thousands of people stranded on the ever-busy highway, with traffic gridlock stretching for kilometers. Traffic authorities in Lagos said the principal incident involved a violent collision between two heavy-duty trailers, one laden with sand and the other conveying granite, reportedly occasioned by a reckless contest for right of way. LASMA's Director of Public Affairs and Enlightenment Department, Adebayo Taufik, said a trapped victim was extricated and transferred to personnel of the Lagos State Ambulance Service, who conveyed him to the General Hospital Ikeja, where he was pronounced dead. According to the Rapid Response Squad of the Lagos State Police Command, a secondary accident occurred as a result of the overturned truck. Now, days after the commencement of an industrial action instituted by the staff of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, the National Industrial Court, Abuja, has issued an order of interlocutory injunction prohibiting the leaders of the Federal Capital Territory Administration Workers Union, their agents, and members from embarking on strikes, picketing, lockouts, road blockades, or any action aimed at shutting down the administration's activities. This ruling comes after workers under the aegis of the Joint Union Action Committee embarked on an indefinite strike over the non-payment of promotion arrears and other entitlements on Monday. In a ruling on Thursday, Justice E.D. Sublime granted an application filed by the Minister of the FCT and the FCTA restraining union officials from proceeding with the industrial action. News Central's Aishat Salihu joins us now. She's live at the FCTA Secretariat to monitor the activities. Aishat, so you're outside of the FCTA Secretariat. Can you tell us how things look? How are activities there right now? Aishat, can you hear me?
Yes, good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon. So you're outside of the FCTA Secretariat. Kindly describe the situation there and how activities are looking. Is it a normal work day for a Friday?
Well, what we are seeing here right now is a rare occurrence. I mean, the FCTA secretariat being empty like this. Ideally, before now, you would see beehive of activity, civil servants trooping in and out, plus other individuals who may have one business or another to do with the secretariat. But from what we have seen so far, there is a total compliance with the indefinite strike that the union has instituted since Monday. And on my far left, you can see some members members of the union who have refused to join me on the camera to speak and saying that I should speak with their leadership, which I intend to do shortly after now. And they have been stating their agitation, saying that their demands are not yet met, although the FCTA released a statement earlier saying that for 10 out of the 14 demands that these people made have been attended to. But the union maintained that until all 14 demands are met, they will continue with the indefinite strike. But the latest kicker to this drama now is that the FCTA and the minister has proceeded to take the matter to the industrial court. And although the union were absent at the court yesterday, but the court has now issued them a summon to be at the court by Monday, 26 January, to present their case. So most of this case is just talking about the legality of their strike action. And the union, they are talking tough. It's more like the clash of the titans, but we just hope to see who will eventually become victorious. Is it the FCTA or the union? But the long and short of this is that it is expected that their demands should be met so that government activity can continue as usual. Because right now, activities are down. Nothing is happening in here.
So for those who might just be following this story for the first time, can you give us an idea of some of the primary or the demands that they are prioritizing as a union?
Well, majority of their demands border on welfareism, some of the backlog of arrears that are yet to be paid, amongst other welfare issues, which they say they have been raising with the FCTA, with the authorities, and they claim that these demands have not been met. Earlier, when I spoke with those people sitting right over there, you can hear the anger in their voice, and they are saying that if I told you FCTA really mean business and want peace to be restored, they shouldn't even have to take them to the industrial court, because it is within their own right to go to down tools and go on a strike. But then they are ready to join the court by Monday, and we're still following up the issue. We hope to speak with authorities to still bring you up to speed on the latest development.
All right, Aisha, thank you so much. And as you said, you'll be speaking with union leaders, so throughout the course of the day, we'll have updates on this story. Thank you. All right, so we move things right along on the 12 reports, and the Nigerian Bar Association has strongly condemned the purported appointment of Abdulrasheed Maina as Grand Patron of the NBA Garki branch, describing the move as unethical and damaging to the legal profession's integrity. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the NBA said it viewed with disdain reports that the chairman of the NBA Garki branch, Anthony Bamidele Ojo, allegedly appointed Maina, who was convicted for stealing over 2 billion naira in pension funds, to the honorary position. The association said such an action undermines the rule of law, erodes public confidence in the bar, and contradicts the government's anti-corruption efforts. The NBA also faulted comments reportedly made by the branch chairman concerning Maina's appeal, believed to be pending before the Supreme Court, stressing that the association does not comment on sub judice matters or attempt to influence public opinion or judicial proceedings. It's time for another break. I do promise that there's much more news coming your way right after this. Stay with us. President Bola Tinubu has approved the posting of 3 ambassadors designate out of the 66 confirmed by the Senate last December. President Tinubu confirmed the postings of Ambassador Ayodele Oke as the ambassador designate to France and Colonel Lateef Are as the ambassador designate to the United States of America. Also confirmed by the president is the posting of Ambassador Amin Dahatu, former ambassador to South Korea, as the High Commissioner designate to the United Kingdom. In a memo to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, President Tinubu urged the ministry to notify the governments of the 3 countries about the ambassadors designate in accordance with diplomatic procedures. And staying in Abuja, President Bola Tinubu has received Shell executives led by Bayo Ojulari, who paid a courtesy visit to thank the president for recent executive orders and incentives aimed at attracting global investment into Nigeria's oil and gas sector. Ojulari said the incentives introduced under the Petroleum Industry Act have restored investor confidence and enabled Shell to complete its onshore asset divestment and take a $5 billion final investment decision on the Bonga North project, followed by another $2 billion shallow water gas investment.
As most of you know, following the PIA, we realized that there were additional incentives that were necessary to attract investment. And the reason for that is that the competition for investment is global. And most other countries, like other African countries, Guyana, the Far East, they're changing their policies very dynamic so that they can attract those investment. Shell has then taken final investment decision of $5 billion for the development of Bonga North. And after that, subsequently, they took another investment decision last year for what we call a shallow water field. We call it HI, for gas development, another $2 billion. So overall, between the time that Mr. President has announced that incentive, just one company, Shell alone, has already invested.
A civil society organization is urging the federal government to reroute its Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project away from Akwa Ibom's Stubbs Creek Forest Reserve to conserve the area. Rights activist Ben Usang, while speaking on behalf of the group, warns that any intrusion into the protected ecological hotspot would cause lasting damage to its ecosystem. Other stakeholders also emphasize the forest economic value, noting its vital role in supporting local livelihoods, preserving biodiversity, and providing essential natural flood protection.
But it doesn't take rocket science to know the value of this forest to communities. This forest holds huge resources, floral and faunal species that are under threat of extinction. Many of them are only found in this part of the world, and they are going to be extinct with the degradation of that forest area. That the communities are actually agitating, that civil society is actually agitating, that people actually understand the extent of loss that is going to come to the ecosystem if this project goes on undeterred.
The indication is that a lot of our woods are moving all over the world, and Cross River State is in danger at a time that the federal government has signed up to carbon credits, which means that this conservation of our forests would have brought us millions of money for conserving instead of exploitation. And the whole exploitation started with a project of saying you are opening up a road which could not be complete.
We move to crime news now. Allegations of sexual abuse within a place meant to offer spiritual refuge have sent shockwaves through Edo State. A 50-year-old cleric, Apostle Gideon Osaige Osazi, is now in custody following accusations that he sexually assaulted female members of his church, including minors. Two sisters have broken years of silence to tell their story. News Central's Amenze Bazwaye reports.
They were children when it began, children who trusted a man they were taught to call pastor. For years, their pain had no voice. These two sisters have accused Apostle Gideon Osaige Osaze, founder of Royal Life of Christ Brethren Ministries, of repeatedly sexually assaulting them over several years, beginning when they were still minors. According to the victims, the abuse happened at different times, alleging that the cleric forced them to swear oaths of secrecy, warning that harm would come to them if they ever spoke out. For years, they remained silent. But after confiding in a close family member, the sisters say they found the courage to report the matter to authorities.
He asked me to come and sleep in his room, that is my father, is this, is that. So in the night, I was feeling some kind of touch in my body. When I woke up and I saw it was him, I started pleading with him and saying that I was a virgin. Even when I tried to shout, he covered my mouth, and that was how he took advantage of me. He's like, his instinct was telling him that I would definitely expose him. He now took me to the altar. He made me to swear that I will never ever tell anybody. If not, I will lose my life. And he also said that if any man ever have access to my body again, except only him, that man will come on top of me.
The case was first reported at the Vivian Sexual Assault Referral Center, where preliminary assessments reportedly support the victims' accounts.
They came and reported the case, and then our officers had to do their own investigations. So we invited the person in question, and to our greatest surprise, he took to his heels.
Apostle Osaze has denied the allegations, claiming he only proposed marriage to one of the accusers.
It's the first one. It's not true. What happened was that I made a proposal for one, which she told me she was 21 years. That was how we started the relationship. To the extent that I engaged her.
However, the Edo State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Eugenia Abdallah, confirmed that the cleric was arrested after allegedly evading several invitations.
So far, 4 children came to when the two that brought his sins to the limelight, and 4 others from the church came to the SAC center and then to the ministry.
Edo State Police PRO says the suspect remains in custody and that the case has now been charged to court for prosecution.
He has confessed to this crime, and we equally have tangible evidence against him. And definitely he will be arraigned in courts to serve as deterrent to others.
While investigations continue, many hope that this particular case will encourage others living in fear to speak out and seek help from appropriate authorities. In Edo, for News Central, Ameze Bazwai.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has reaffirmed its commitment to safeguarding public health through intensified investigation and enforcement activities. The agency made this known during a press conference and media parley held at its Investigation and Enforcement Directorate, aimed at strengthening collaboration with the media and promoting regulatory compliance. Correspondent Emmanuel Olubobukun was at the press parley and joins us live now. Emmanuel, let's quickly get into some of the key takeaways from this press conference and media parley that was held by NAFDAC. What were the things that were said today?
Okay, I'm at NAFDAC office here at Apapa. One of the key things that was actually being said today is the issue of the ban on alcohol. There's a time when they made the point of that NAFDAC actually banned alcohol, but they actually made a counter statement now today saying that they didn't really ban alcohol, but they just banned the sachet, which is a small quantity, small quantity alcohol. Then they also talked about Goya oil, where they saw they had to distinguish between the fake and also both the fake and the original ones, employing residents to stay away and also take themselves away from taking such oil. But for the sachet, they've made points, and they also make clarification that along Isolo, just around Isolo, the office at Isolo, that protest is actually going on there with guys coming into protest just because of the ban on alcohol, alcohol, the sachet alcohol. And they made a point saying that the ban is just because for those that just to curb the sales of it, and which they've already made points that companies, those that are manufacturing the alcohol, can still go ahead and still manufacture the alcohol in their respective amounts, but above 100 milligram and above 100 ml. But beside me now, we have one of the directors here who also spoke about, gave points to the reason why they actually made that statement, saying that the ban on alcohol. Sir, please, if you can come forward. Yes, we're live on air talking about, you made a point on the ban of alcohol, and yes, you made a statement saying that you didn't really ban, NAFDAC didn't really ban alcohol, but just a specific amount, which is the sachet alcohol. Can you make more clarification on that, sir?
Okay, what is banned, we want to correct the wrong impression in the society. What is banned is pack sizes that are below 200 mils and in sachet. We have not banned the products. So the issue of saying job losses and all of that does not come in, because we have not shot the companies. What we have shot is a particular pack size and is in compliance with SDG 3.5 of limiting access. And that's why Ministry of Health, Federal Consumer Protection Agency, we started these meetings since as far back as 2018, when it became a world problem. So it's not only a Nigerian problem. And the agreement there with the SDG 3.5 is to limit access. And that's why we said this particular set, this access that people have easy access to 50 naira you can really buy and all of that, and he encourages a lot of things. We have social impact, we have all of those things, and those are the things we are saying we are trying to curtail. But we are not saying people should not drink alcohol, you can use your alcohol and all of that, but we are limiting access, and we are empowered by law to regulate use and control of regulated products. And so that's what we are doing. That's what we are talking about. Thank you.
Now, what other steps? What about the companies themselves? What are you actually enforcing to those companies that are producing in this smaller sachet? What enforcement or what rules do you want to, or law do you want to bring for them? Or what step are you taking to be able to talk to these companies that, okay, this is what we want, no more production of this smaller sachet, even though that is where they make their almost 80% of their profits these days. What law are you bringing forth for them?
Okay, we're not bringing any new law. A policy has been in place since 2018. So it's not new to them. For about 6 years we've been on this. And so it's not a new policy that we just woke up and we talked about. Everybody was on the table. We discussed this and we talked about it, and we reasoned. NAFDAC is a listening agency who reasoned with them, and we allow a phase-out time we have done 6 years cumulative phase-out time. It's always becoming as if we are not serious to Nigerians, because I know everywhere I go, they say you have banned alcohol, we have banned sachet alcohol, they are still everywhere. And we said no, it's because we are giving the companies time. And so we cannot give the companies time forever. It has come to stay. Right. And the things again we're trying to say is that the implication of allowing these things to stay far much more weighs the benefit for a few people.
All right, now thank you very much, sir, for the brief time, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And so that's it from NAFDAC office. Back to you, the studios.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for that. Now we're of course going to move on to other things, but those will come up after the break. Do stay with us, and we'll continue talking. The leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, Julius Malema, is back at the East London court for sentencing on firearm charges. The charges date back to 2018, when Malema was attending the EFF's 5th birthday celebration at the Sisa Dakushi Stadium. The court found that Malema had taken an assault rifle from his former bodyguard and co-accused Adrian Steinman and fired several shots into the air during the event. To discuss the case, we're joined by a lecturer in the Department of Jurisprudence for the University of South Africa, Mamedwe Sebeyi. Mr. Sebeyi, welcome to the 12 Report, and thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here, and greeting to all the viewers.
So let's look at this case in terms of from the beginning up to now, the sentencing of the charges. What's been your estimation of how this case has come about to the results we are expecting possibly any moments from now?
Well, regardless of how you look at it, the matter has long not been just merely a legal case. It is a political spectacle, because you would remember that the charge was laid by the AfriForum, which is not really motivated by the enforcement of the law to maintain the rule of law and order in even the general bourgeois sense of that concept, but to actually go after EFF, because the EFF and its rhetoric on nationalization, expropriation of land without compensation, all of that for them threatened the vested interest of the white minority capitalists that continue to monopolize the vast sections of the economy, of the minerals and the land in this country.
So when you look at this case, how do you think any ruling, whether it is a light, quote unquote, maybe slap on the wrist or a discharge of the charges against Malema, how do you think any ruling can impact Malema's political career as well as his public image?
I'm not convinced that the adverse outcome would really have any decisive importance. Why? Because Malema is riding on the momentum of the EFF that has far deeper roots on the discontent of the black working class youth in particular, who are facing the catastrophic levels of unemployment, deepening poverty and inequalities. And I think this, the EFF is an expression of that anger on the part of the black working class youth in particular. So I think his political career in general is linked with that. To the extent that there are problems in the EFF, none of that rest on this case. The support for him would actually remain insofar as the EFF is concerned, because it will simply reinforce the image of him as a martyr of the cause for the economic freedom in the lifetime of many of these young people that are rallying behind his call and the cry for radical transformation of society. Now, I don't think the EFF itself is consistently committed to that. They've been making retreats on a number of issues, including nationalizations, and that has shifted them to the right, and that has lost them ground in a number of important areas and amongst sections of their constituency. But the outcome itself would not have any decisive importance.
Interesting. So in terms of that, if you believe the outcome of any judgments regarding Malema in this case may not have any consequence for him particularly, let's widen the conversation a bit and look at what this case means for the broader issue of firearms laws and political figures in South Africa. Do you think this case will have any relevance in that situation, in that arena?
Well, I mean, there are two levels to this case, right? You have, a legal case that is before us of a discharge of a firearm in a crowded area that I think, is a criminal act. There is absolutely no doubt, about that. And I think the elements for conviction on that ground technically exist. And I think the evidence is there to support that. But I think, the issue of carrying a gun in general, I think in this context, was also a political expression, particularly, an expression of the protest over the unfinished, if you like, revolution in this country that has left the economic power in the hands of the same privileged elite that control it under apartheid, in the hands of the same imperialist corporate monopolies that continue to control, as I said, the economy, the land, and the minerals in this country. So there is those elements, and I think the intervention of, AfriForum is to decapitate, so to speak, the EFF. Because this is not only the case that they brought against him. They have quite several of them. And I think their agenda from that point of view, is absolutely clear. At the same time, we do have a problem. When you go to Western Cape, many people are losing their lives because they are caught in the crossfires between the gangs, in Cape Town in particular. And I think this is a major concern for the people in this country. So
all right.
Mr. Sabi, going to be challenged to strike the balance.
All right. I do apologize. Time will not allow for us to go further, but we are watching very closely to see how this case develops. Thank you so much for your time. All right, before we wrap things up, let's quickly look at what's happening outside of the continent, where European leaders say they are relieved but remain on guard after U.S. President Donald Trump backed down from threats to seize Greenland and impose tariffs on several European countries. Trump has instead agreed to a framework deal. Now, EU officials stress they will defend their interests and stay extremely vigilant against future jolts from the unpredictable leader. They also highlighted unity and readiness to use trade tools if needed, even as distrust lingers and ties with Washington remain fragile. And finally, the Nigeria Professional Football League body has sanctioned champions Remo Stars after their Week 20 clash with Ikorodu City on the 14th of January. Udoka Njoku is here with more. Udoka, what's that story looking like as it develops now?
Well, for the champions, it's not a great one for Remo Stars because they are currently swimming in the relegation zone of the Nigeria Premier Football League table, and of course, chaos erupting in their last game where the fans were quite uncontrolled and the sanctions have come heavily on them, given about 48 hours to respond to the sanction. We hope for better days for Remo Stars, hoping that they can survive being relegated this season. But there'll be more updates on in the game. It starts shortly.
All right, so the game comes your way at the top of the 1 o'clock hour, and this is all we have for you on the 12 report today. Don't forget to send in your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on your screen, and follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tolu Lokwe Adeleru Balogun. Have a pleasant afternoon.